They say, never share your issues with anyone. Keep everything between you two. And yes, many matters are sacred. Not for the crowd. But let's be honest. Sometimes, love gets stuck in silence. Sometimes the two of you can't find a way through. And in those moments, can a trusted third party help? Can they be the bridge? The safe space? The voice that helps you hear each other again? So, is sharing your problems always weakness? Or could it be wisdom? When you choose the right third party to listen?
I'm sure you probably heard this piece of relationship advice before. Maybe from a parent, an aunt, an uncle, a pastor, or a trusted friend. Never let a third party into your marriage. Sort out your problems yourself. It sounds like solid advice, right? Let me tell you, that's until silence becomes dangerous or pride keeps you stuck. So today, I'm going to challenge that popular advice and I'm going to replace it with wisdom. Because while it is well-intentioned, following it blindly can be damaging. Not all third parties are equal. Some heal, some harm, and some are necessary for your safety and the survival of your relationship. So let's get real and practical. Welcome to my channel. As always, I'm Taiye Aluko, a marriage coach and relationship expert. And on this channel, I talk about real issues that couples face in marriage and life. And I share practical tips and golden nuggets grounded in both wisdom and faith. Now, if you are new here, thanks for stopping by. Please make sure to stick around till the end of the video. You will be glad you did. All right, so what do we mean by third parties? A third party is anyone outside of the two of you, outside of your covenant relationship, who becomes part of how you handle your relationship. And they include your family members, parents, siblings, aunties, uncles. They include your friends and colleagues. They include your faith community, pastors or cell group leaders. They include professionals like therapists, counselors, coaches, mediators, lawyers, doctors, and they also include digital voices like social media influencers, online advisors, aunties and uncles. So I want to first give this advice its due. No third parties is about promoting privacy, loyalty, and self-responsibility. It's about protecting the sacred covenant relationship between you and your spouse. The moment you bring in an outsider to complain about your partner, you risk creating a me and my family versus my spouse dynamic. And that is corrosive. Secondly, that advice is about trust. Your spouse shares their vulnerabilities with you and they expect that trust to be honored. Now, when you share their flaws or your private arguments with others, it can feel like a betrayal. And finally, that advice is also about avoiding biases. Your friends, your family, they love you. So naturally, they will tend to be on your side. So if you go to them upset, they'll likely just validate your anger, hardening your position, and making it harder for you to see your partner's perspective or your own role in the conflict. Plus, they might hold a grudge against your partner long after both of you have made up. So the core of this advice is to avoid gossip, avoid biases, and to strengthen your own internal problem-solving skills. And that is very valuable. But here is the flip side. This advice makes a huge assumption that both parties are acting in good faith, have equal power in the relationship. That is not always the case. Now, insisting on handling everything by yourselves can be isolating and dangerous, especially in certain circumstances. Now, if you're experiencing any form of abuse, whether it's physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, spiritual abuse, this power dynamic is broken. You cannot sort it out with your abuser. A third party, like a therapist or a domestic violence hotline, is essential for your safety and your perspective. Now, the same is true for addiction. If your partner or your spouse is struggling with substance abuse, the problem is bigger than your relationship. Professional help is very, very necessary. Now, what about serious mental health crises like severe depression, severe anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, and the like? Now, these are medical conditions that require professional intervention. It is not your spouse's job to be your therapist. They can't, except they are qualified, and even in that case, they can't. So it's not fair, and it's not even safe to expect that they will be. Now, finally, if you're stuck in a cycle where conversations are always turning to fights, that is also a problem. You are gridlocked over the same issue, and it is creating a serious wedge in your relationship. You will need a skilled, neutral third party, a therapist, a couples counselor, to help you interrupt that cycle and teach you new tools. Now, in all of these cases, the going alone advice is unhelpful and can be harmful. So the real wisdom is not about banning third parties. It's about knowing the difference between a helpful one and a harmful one. So let me start with the helpful third parties. Who are they? First, I would say certified professionals, therapists, coaches, counselors, mediators. This is the gold standard when it comes to couples mediation or intervention. They are trained, they are neutral, they are legally bound to confidentiality. Their only goal is the health of your relationship. The second example are trusted, unbiased, mature friends. The key word is mature. These are the friends who listen, who offer empathy, but then ask, what is your part in this, or what do you think you can do different? They encourage reconciliation. The third would be wise elders or mentor couples. They have healthy marriages, they're emotionally mature, they are non-judgmental, they're discreet. The fourth would be spiritual leaders. Now, if you're part of a faith community, there are many pastors, spiritual leaders who are trained in counseling and can offer guidance. Now, what makes them helpful? They don't take sides. They take the side of your marriage, and they also preach safety first. They protect privacy. They do not gossip. They do not use you to preach on the pulpit. They encourage direct communication between spouses, and they offer skills that can help you communicate better, resolve conflict better, and set boundaries, not just opinions. Now, who are harmful third parties? What do they look like? Let me tell you. You have the biased best friend, the one who always takes your side and trashes your partner. It's either they're telling you to leave him or they're telling you to show her pepe at every complaint. They fuel the fire instead of helping to put it out. Then you have family members that cannot be unbiased. And this is a big one. Your mom, your siblings, your father, they may never forget the negative thing you told them in a moment of anger, and it can poison their view of your partner or your spouse forever. What about the office friends, the work colleague, the person you're really close to in the office? This is dangerous because venting about your home life is like the stepping stone into emotional affairs. Avoid it at all costs. Then you have social media. Never ever vent about your spouse online. It's a breach of confidentiality and it attracts people abusing or calling them out. Then of course you have what I call predatory spiritual leaders. These ones minimize abuse and sometimes they also want to take advantage of you. And then you have exes. Exes are a no. That ex that you felt you can confide in, an absolute no. Harmful third parties. So now that you know the harmful and the helpful, what is the best way to initiate a conversation if there is a need? How do you have that conversation? Because there's a world of difference between venting and processing. It's very important that you avoid labeling. It's very important that you avoid saying things like, he's so lazy, he never does anything around the house. It's very important that you avoid saying things like, my wife is incompetent, my wife can't cook, I can't believe that she did that again. And it's very important that you avoid the private details. The reason is because in those instances, what you will be doing is assassinating your spouse's character. And even though you may feel better temporarily, you will solidify a negative story and impression about your spouse. You begin to let people see them in a bad light. So, a helpful conversation would sound like, we're struggling with communication, we're struggling with sex, or we're struggling with finances. I really need to learn a better way to handle it without making my spouse feel judged or blamed. Then take accountability, your willingness to work on your own part. And then ask, can you suggest ideas or can you refer me to someone who can help? Do you see the difference? Make sure that the focus is always on finding a solution, not on blaming, judging, or defaming. Make sure that you are not sharing intimate details. And make sure you are even acknowledging the good side of your spouse. Know that the goal of this conversation should be to help you gain clarity so that you can go back and communicate better with your spouse. Very important. So, is no third parties good advice? At best, it's a half-truth. The focus must always be to protect the sanctity of your relationship by being intentional. However, prioritize getting professional help for big stuff. If you feel the need to get things off your chest, gravitate to confidants who are friends of your relationship and are rooting for the success of your marriage. Make sure that the conversations don't trash your spouse. Let your goal always be to build a bond so strong that when you do seek outside perspective, it's done in a way that strengthens your relationship rather than tearing it apart. Now, if you would like a guided path to communicate better, if you'd like to learn how to set boundaries with love, if you need to heal all old hurts, please sign up for my signature program, Pathway to Forever. It is where I help couples. I walk them through step by step from conflict to connection with proven tools, with compassion, with empathy, and teach accountability. Okay, so tell me, have you experienced the downside of bringing a third party into your relationship? Or have you found an amazing therapist or friend who saved the day? I'd like to know. Share your stories in the comment section. Let's learn from each other. Let's encourage each other. If this video has helped you in any way, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more conversations about building healthier relationships. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next video, and make sure to share, and keep sharing. God bless you, and bye-bye.